Any update on the teachers' negotiation with government today? Teachers' negotiation with government update. Any update about the negotiation? Good evening, colleagues. Please, any update on today's negotiations? I mean, the meeting between government and NLC. Any update? seekersnewgh.com, outcome of negotiations with government. So these were series of messages that popped our inbox on the teachers' negotiations with government concerning the conditions of service and allowances for teachers. So on the 23rd of April 2024, which was yesterday, there was a lot of pressure, and governments and teacher unions were slated to meet for negotiations as directed by the National Labour Commission. According to Mr. Adokwe Ayikwe, the communication officer for CCTGH on TV3, he announced this meeting was supposed to happen between the government and the teacher unions on the 23rd before meeting with the National Labour Commission in May. The National Labour Commission earlier gave the teacher unions and government 2 weeks to make conclusions before coming to meet again finally. The significance of this meeting cannot be overstated, as it pertains directly to the livelihood and well-being of countless teachers nationwide. While the importance of these negotiations is clear, transparency has been solely dripping. The national president of NAGRAT, Mr. Angel Kabonu, earlier stated that it is termed bad labor practice when negotiations are still ongoing and no confirmation has been made, but any of the side come out to say what has transpired. So regarding the confidentiality of ongoing negotiations, especially when confirmation is not yet done, the depth of information has fueled speculation and concern among teachers. Because there's no much information given out there, there are many also giving out speculations. Many have voiced their frustration, clamoring for update and insight into the proceedings. Seekers New GH, upon many requests on the update on the negotiations, made series of calls to the teacher unions to find out what transpired, but as stated earlier, confidentiality, bad labor practice, no comment came from the teacher unions. But before that, one particular point of contention arose from an interview with the communication officer of CCTGH on TV3, where certain conditions raised eyebrows. So teachers were aware earlier of the conditions of service being fought for, which included the CPD allowance, the assessment allowance, the deprived area allowance, utility subsidy allowance, transport allowance, rent or housing allowance. But in his comments, there seemed to be no rent allowance, and rather there was a pop-in of a data and online teaching allowance. This raised concern, with many asking the key factors, which is the rent and utility and transport, seem to be missing in the negotiations now. And all these came about because so much information on the negotiation so far is not given out there. So any little information that goes out, people try to add meaning to it. Well, we tried to get insight on the information, but nothing has been given yet. Adding fuel to the fire, a letter dated January 2013 had resurfaced, indicating a historical precedent for similar requests made by NAT, which is the Ghana National Association of Teachers. While allowances such as the utility, maintenance, fuel, rent advance were supposedly included in collective agreement, discrepancies in implementation have left many disillusioned. So in the 2013 letter, the Ghana National Association of Teachers wrote a letter to government indicating their pre-demands for these allowances we mentioned, which is the rent, the utility, and all that. So these allowances were previously requested for, but they were not given. Due to the analysis that has been made so far on social media, one thing that is clear is that these allowances are truly found in the collective agreement. So if you pick the collective agreement, you see maintenance allowance, you see fuel allowance, you see rent advance. But these allowances are not given to teachers. According to our search, these allowances are not given to teachers. And that is where the problem is. The fear of history repeating itself looms large, with teachers insisting that any agreement reached must translate into tangible benefits, effective immediately, and reflect in their monthly pay. So whatever allowance that the teacher unions are able to come up with or agree with government, it should be effective and be on the pay slip. They should see it monthly. However, their support is contingent upon regular updates and meaningful progress in negotiations. Teachers have not given up yet on the negotiations. The pressure is mounting. They want to know what is happening at each stage. Every meeting that the teacher unions have with government, they want to see what is happening. They want to know what is happening. As the pressure mounts on the government to present a viable offer, the onus is on both parties to navigate these discussions with transparency, integrity, and commitment to the welfare of teachers nationwide. In this pivotal moment, the hopes and aspirations of teachers across the country hang in the balance, awaiting resolution and closure to this protracted saga. Only time will tell whether the negotiations will culminate in a mutually beneficial agreement or leave teachers delusioned and disheartened once more. But will this happen? Teacher unions are assuring that this will not happen. The next meeting is slated for 2nd May 2024, which is to happen between the government, the National Labour Commission, and the teacher unions. Will strike be called? On the issue of strike, the teacher unions have said that strikes and demonstrations are still within their scope and labor practices, and when they get there, they would definitely cross. The teacher unions must make an effort to update the members. This is because if they don't do that, there will be a lot of uncertainty in the system, with many people speculating, and there will be a lot of agitations all around. Teachers need answers, and they are following this keenly with high interest because they are the number one stakeholder when it comes to these allowances being negotiated for. We are still communicating with the unions, and any update that is given which is relevant and authentic will be shared with you, our cherished audience. If you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly do so. So the meeting on 23rd, no updates has come, and let's hope for the more meetings or secret meetings between government and the teacher unions to bring in better offer. By 2nd May, there should be a conclusion to all this. Kindly subscribe to our channel.